Here we are again.
Again
with the world famous Troy Ladd of Hollywood Hot Rods. Can't thank him enough, first of all, for coming out here, bringing a car to the featured first annual CarBarbecue. Which people that are watching this will see a segment or hear a segment of it, but we had many cars out here today. A couple more left. Today, tell us what you got, what you brought in for
Go ahead.
Actually, I was going to cut you off because I say before I let you tell us what you brought, to let people know, we briefly feature this car as we did a shop tour through your shop a few months ago, but now we'll spend a little bit more time, look at it in the daylight and in its natural environment outside.
Get a chance to fire it up, right? We didn't get a chance to do that
We can
before.
do birdhouse on if you want. But actually, I think we've touched on it a couple of times because you also saw it at the Grand National Show.
This wasn't
when I first met you.
This wasn't the one that was the
this
special.
This is not made of cheese.
All right.
No, that was the other one.
I'm learning this hot rod game, and you'll have to bear with me, Troy, because the materials used in today's cars they're a little beyond me. But tear into it and tell us a little bit about what this started out as and where you took it, because there is some really cool things on here that hopefully the guys that check out the video will see. And you can talk to the effect of the engine, which is the stuff that I like, especially.
Right. Well, actually, there's quite a bit more to it than really you can imagine, because it appears like a traditional-looking 32 Roadster. It's got that aesthetic. It's kind of got that vintage hot rod vibe. But actually, every piece of it is hand-built, and it's a little bit different in every aspect as far as the dimensions. It's longer. It's lower. It's got quite a bit of subtle differences that have been done to the car, so we still kind of capture that vintage aesthetic, but it's every bit a hand-built, more of almost like a prototype car, if you can imagine. So I mean, right off the bat, before we get to the engine, like the body, it's based on a 32 body, but we've taken a 2-inch section out of the entire perimeter of the car, so it's sectioned. We moved the wheel wells up 5 inches. We relocated them fore and aft just a wee bit. The back section of the car has been brought down so that the belt lines match for a better aesthetic view from a profile. Each of the corners have been rounded. There's little stampings that match all of the Ford design elements that we've just kind of continued on.
Is that like the hinge trim?
Yeah, like things like that. And
this detail above the exhaust that you guys got going on?
Yeah, so like the exhaust. It goes through the frame, halfway through the body with a little hood. And that was just to add little detail elements that not everybody can do. And because this originally competed for America's Most Beautiful Roadster back in, it was like 3 years ago.
Just out of curiosity, you started this project, and from, rolling out the paint shop, how long did this take you to build out?
Gosh, I probably worked on it 3 years total. 80% of that was the metal and the design work. And then from paint to the show, I hate to say it, but it was a few weeks.
Well,
you know how that goes.
Well, that's the scene where they have everybody yelling at the painter. Look, man, we got to do it.
We did, yeah. I have pictures of this car with timestamps on the bottom of the pictures. 14 hours before it's supposed to be on the floor at the Grand National Show, in pieces, everywhere. And it's insane. I look at those pictures and I just remember the stomach aches and stress.
You should be like the Ray Bestis truck you did, which is another beautiful truck. I remember we were over there at your shop probably 2-3 weeks before, and there's a big sign like "end counting."
The countdown. And all it was sort of the painted frame and the body.
Yeah.
The engine wasn't actually the fuel injection wasn't done at all on that car yet.
Yeah, that was scary because that was a big risk because nobody had ever done that before. So luckily it all turned out.
Well, your guys did an awesome job on that car because we checked it out after the fact, and it's gorgeous. And we'll get that thing with a burnout here at some point when it gets back in the show.
It's at the Peterson Museum. We're going to have it back tomorrow. So
timing.
Timing.
That's ready for a bleach burnout.
I know you did some really cool things on this engine.
Let's get to that.
Let's pop the hood, Matt.
Let's pop the hood. And tell us about that, because I know it's injected, but it doesn't look like it. You really hit it well.
Yeah, so the deal behind the engine is that's a 392 Chrysler Hemi. It's a 2-year only, 5758 is when they did 392s. This was originally going to go in a top fuel dragster called the Rat Trap back in the 60s. It was in that guy's shop, and he had a stable of engines, and it hadn't been built yet. So it has a little bit of history. Those are the original mechanicals from the late 50s. But there's electronic injectors that are underneath the main bodies that are hidden in the valley pan. So that finned aluminum valley pan in the middle, there's electronic injectors inside there with
fuel rails, everything.
Fuel rails, wiring,
the
whole bit.
The thing that's amazing about I've been looking at it pretty hard to see what I see that's out of place for the regular mechanical injection. And I see maybe one thing, and that's the throttle position sensor.
Yep, that's the only thing that really gives away is that little plastic.
And you kind of can't see it because it's kind of buried in the back.
Right.
And how much do you drive it?
Car shows and around. I mean, I just took it on a 1,000-mile trip up north and stayed at bed and breakfast and came back down. So, I mean, it's got wear on it. It's 3 years old. And again, this was a high-end, well, it still is, I guess, a high-end show car, but it's got, I think there's even bugs in the grill currently.
That's a driver. Now, when you decided to create this car, was this something that started Hollywood Hot Rods, or was this something that you were building along and this kind of evolved you into the business? Or?
No. What I already had Hollywood Hot Rods, and this was my personal project because I wanted a 32 Roadster, so I would build it at night and on the weekends, and still run the shop. And as it started to progress, all of the design things, I had all these design elements, we started to add to it, and pretty soon it evolved into a much bigger thing. Then we were asked to compete in the America's Most Beautiful Roadster competition, so then that stepped it up yet again.
Me and Matt were asked to compete as well, but we don't have any cars. I'm not sure what that means.
That wasn't the wet t-shirt contest, was it?
It'd be the chubby guy, skinny guy, or something. I don't know how that works out.
So that's kind of how it evolved, and then originally the car was going to be a Washington blue, which would be a dark blue with
I dig this color because it's a little different.
And even the chassis and all that stuff, everything is tied in, like all of these pieces, the suspension,
engine block, everything's color keyed nicely.
And speaking of the metalwork, I see what you did on the interior. You basically made your own metal center console, I guess you can call it.
Right.
Do you have it all tied into the frame, or does it stop at a certain point?
No,
It's just...
how that kind of evolved is because this back tube work here, we do those to all of the Roadsters, and it's hidden behind upholstery because the bodies are floppy. Yeah. So we do that, and then we put a cage in the cowl to try to help stabilize the body.
It's a little skeleton-y like, which kind of gives it, but it's neat because
it's almost like a full hidden roll cage. I mean, aside from the loop, but it has.
And you get the water ski tow rope hook in the back.
That's actually seatbelts.
Yeah, cool.
the seatbelts clip onto that. Yep.
That's cool.
So we did that, and then one of my guys had a scrap piece of tube, and he laid it in there. He's like, "What if we tied it all the way forward and let it be exposed?" So that kind of evolved into the theme of the car. This elegant kind of vintage race car feel with a little touch of European sports car. Some of this stuff is more European than American.
And it's funny because I'm looking at the trunk things. I'm going, man, those look like off of my Sunbeam Tiger.
They are. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
They are. Well, actually, those are
Triumph.
They sell those for Factory 5 Cobra kit cars.
Yeah, it's a real similar looking part, European.
Yeah, that's
English.
actually from Factory 5.
Cool.
So the gauge is a 41 Pontiac. The cluster is a 41 Pontiac. I found it in a junkyard and someone gave it to me, and I thought it looked cool.
It is way cool.
So then I made the dash. I got 100 hours in just making the dash to set in the cluster. Then once we do that, we have the clusters restored, and they're all electronic, so they work.
Well, here we're at our transition point. Let's do two things now. One, we got to hear this thing fire because that's mandatory because people are bust on us if we don't. The second is tell us what's coming up because Grand National Roadster shows gonna come up, and me and Matt are guaranteed to bone up on it. We're going to learn that cheese is not the special material. Well, maybe that's just me. To building a special hot rod.
Easy as that. Electronic. So that's the beauty of electronic injection.
Yeah.
But
all you gotta do is watch out for the tire marbles and rocks get into your engine. You're golden.
There's a little bit of birds and plus an injected 392 Hemi on those tires are
a little scary.
Yeah,
a little.
You really don't have to run any screen or anything on there, or you're just out there.
Hey, what's going to happen?
All right, Troy Ladd, Hollywood Hot Rod. Super. We won't keep you.
Good luck at the Roadster show.
Thanks. Well, we'll see you at the Roadster show.
Absolutely.